Up next on The Bottom Line, a new law that would limit the use of tanning beds for minors. We'll update you on the work our Parks Department is doing to eradicating a devastating pest, and we'll tell you about a program where seniors with a special talent are giving back to the community. Thanks for watching, everyone. I'm Susan Kennedy. A new bill that would prohibit anyone under the age of 18 from using tanning beds has been introduced by Councilmember Tom Hucker. As he tells us, the measure comes on the heels of new rules from the Food and Drug Administration when it comes to using tanning devices. The bill would ban parental consent for minors who wish to use a tanning device. The measure also requires tanning salons in the county to post warning signs about the risk of skin cancer associated with the devices. Current laws surrounding tanning facilities were established in 1987 and have been infrequently amended over the years.
Since the 80s, we have learned a whole lot about the risks involved in tanning. They are classified as a Class 1 carcinogen, the same as smoking, and they have been recommended for a ban by use of minors by the FDA. This bill simply says that minors cannot use tanning booths. They need to use alternatives like spray tans, like lotions, other things like that if they choose to tan.
The American Academy of Pediatrics recommends children under the age of 18 never use tanning devices. It's believed young people are at a greater risk of developing cancer from exposure to the indoor tanning beds. Efforts to pass similar legislation at the state level has failed so far. Hucker has widespread support from the council on his bill. There are currently 7 co-sponsors.
The state hasn't chosen to pass it yet. 12 other states have. Many municipalities, including Howard County right next door, have. So it seems like there's no reason not to do this in Montgomery County to protect our consumers and to make sure that we're not dependent on Annapolis to protect our, we have a responsibility to protect our kids as well.
The emerald ash borer is responsible for the destruction of tens of millions of ash trees in 25 states in the Midwest and Northeast. Native to Asia, this insect arrived hidden in wood packing materials. And the Montgomery County Parks Department is working to eradicate this stubborn, tiny beetle. If you're in the area of Rock Creek Park and you hear this, don't be alarmed. These trees are being taken down as the result of a pest that is devastating thousands of ash trees in Montgomery County.
There's no real hope for the future of ash trees at this point. Basically, the emerald ash borer is killing all of the ash trees within this area.
The emerald ash borer is a highly destructive insect from Asia that's about ½ inch long and emerald green in color. This beetle will kill all ash trees in Montgomery County within a few short years. Montgomery Parks is proactively addressing this issue with the immediate removal of 1,800 trees for the safety of parks users.
We went from the previous years, a couple, probably 20 or so trees the previous year, and this year we're on par to remove upwards of about 1,800 trees, which is a pretty startling number, and they're all going to die that quickly. As the population density of the bug increases, the speed at which it kills trees is much faster. So it can go from anywhere from 1 to 3 years, but in high infestation areas it can be as little as even 6 months.
And believe it or not, woodpeckers are helping park staff identify where the borer is doing its damage.
So these larger holes are the woodpecker holes.
The birds chisel away at the bark looking for the larva of the emerald ash borer, and this is a sign to arborists that the pest has done its damage.
It's an extremely difficult pest to contain. It flies upwards of 18 miles away from its original exit point from a tree. So it can basically establish a colony in any ash trees that are within an 18-mile radius of it. So they fly much further than they originally thought they did when we first had the infestation in Maryland before.
One ash tree can be infested with as many as 10,000 larvae, and as Harwood explains, they bore into the tree and feed off its new growth.
Their life begins as a small, tiny little egg. It's about 1/16 of an inch, and then they hatch, and then they bore directly down in, right below the bark of the tree, and they will bore these little serpentine galleries here, feeding on the cambial tissue. The cambial tissue is basically the vascular system, or part of the vascular system for the tree. They basically cut off the circulation to the tree, or its ability to translocate sugars in water. That's where the actual growth of the tree happens.
Harwood says it's not feasible to treat the trees with pesticides. Doing so only prolongs the inevitable mortality of the tree. Harwood says many residents don't understand that Parks is taking down the trees for the safety of residents. In fact, some are confused about the green dots on the trees and not happy about their removal.
Thank you for complaining, because we never have a say in this kind of stuff.
What's the complaint?
Oh, that you're taking that down.
Well, there's a lot of circumstances why we're taking it down. We can explain it to you further if you need.
Well, actually, I'm running. I just wanted to document that.
Okay. Well, yeah, there you get it. People don't really understand, obviously, that this is an infestation, that this is a problem. You have somebody here who doesn't understand why the trees are going down. Is there any kind of like a public campaign that you guys are going to be putting out during the time that the trees are going down to let people know why this is happening?
Yes, we've actually installed a number of signs that just explain some of the biology of emerald ash borer and some of the effects of it and signs and symptoms. We're working continuously to let the neighborhoods around where it's being affected notified. Been doing consistent posts on our all of our social media, informing folks of what we're doing.
This is actually the time of year to do it, and you need to get them before the beetles have emerged from the larvae. So the idea is to try to contain the population, remove areas that are infested, sort of like a quarantine, only removing the objects being quarantined, and then hopefully preventing the spread of the bug.
What about replacement? These are beautiful trees along this trail. Are there any plans to put something in place of them?
Yes, we're definitely dedicated to replanting. It's an obvious, enormous loss of canopy, and it's something that we take very seriously, and we're pursuing very rapidly. The first half is removal and becoming safe, and then the second half is basically paying back the forest and giving them back some more trees.
Currently, researchers are studying a natural predator to the emerald ash borer, a wasp that's native to China. But in the meantime, time is not on the side of ash trees across our region.
It's quite devastating. It's a real big loss to the forest, and this forest in particular is the stream buffer for Rock Creek right here. And trees are extremely important in the stormwater management and erosion control, and they provide habitat for many birds and other animals and wildlife, as well as it's a wonderful place to recreate. I know it's a hard sell to a lot of folks. We're environmentalists just like they are. We're trying to keep a balance between the environmental benefits as well as the safety of park patrons.
For more information about the tree removal program or on the emerald ash borer itself, visit the park's website at montgomeryparks.org. Here in Montgomery County, there are hundreds of volunteer organizations where people give their time to worthy causes. But the Retired Senior Volunteer Program here has carved itself a unique niche with its Yarners Group, where seniors use their hands to create gifts from the heart. Once a week, the RSVP Yarners come together to make items for local charities. They meet in 3 locations throughout the county.
Hello, hi everyone. We have knitters and crocheters. We do not discriminate. These women are the most creative and industrious group of people I have ever met in my life. I am so awed by what these people do. I mean, every one of these is a work of art. Oh, isn't that adorable? Now, most of these women, or many of them, make these things right out of their heads. They don't even need patterns because they've been doing this for so many years that they can do it in their sleep. And I think some of them do it in their sleep because of the way they turn them out. Look at Ann. She can do it with her eyes closed.
Do you want me to teach you how to do that? through, over, under, off. I joined this because it's really close to home. There's a bunch of really nice people here. It's a little large. And it keeps me out of trouble.
We want our seniors to give back to our community. We want our kids to understand, gee, this is what life could be, and these are lessons from life. So our seniors have so much to offer us, and our county is doing a great job in making sure we tap into it.
We learn from everybody. Everybody does something a little bit different. See this bump in the front? That's a pearl. There's no bump here. That's a knit.
I come for more than just the knitting. I can knit at home, but I come for the friendship. We all encourage each other. We talk about more than knitting. We talk about our families, health issues, insurance issues. We just really encourage each other in many ways.
I kind of agree with her because it is kind of quiet at home, and I come over here and hang out with the girls.
I didn't know how to knit, and when I came, they taught me to knit. It's very relaxing, and you're doing it, it's a worthy cause because it's for the homeless.
Okay, here come our latest bags from Schweinhaus Senior Center. So we'll put them on here. All of these items are knitted items that our knitters have made throughout the year. So one of my volunteers is coming in, and we are going to take everything out, separate them out, and then decide where they're going. So for example, Holy Cross gets a lot of the baby blankets and the baby outfits. We give a lot of our stuff to Original Pancake House. Every year, Jeff Bullman, the owner, opens up his pancake houses for Christmas and brings the homeless in for breakfast. And he likes to give them something warm to take home. Also work with GROWS, grassroots organization for the well-being of seniors. And tomorrow I'll be delivering 100 wrapped scarves to seniors living in the low-income housing in the county. Long-term care ombudsman program, that's a county program. They get a lot of our lap gans or blankets. More hats. Anyway, it's great fun to go through everything because the work that these ladies do is phenomenal. It's great, and it's also the bringing together of people who normally would be isolated. You know, it really is nice.
It's fun. It's fun, and thank you for coming by to see what we do.
A lovely group this is. We are like sisters.
To join the RSVP Yarners, call 240-777-2610. Well, Puxatawny Phil predicted we will have an early spring when he did not see his shadow this Groundhog Day. But we still managed to see a little snow just a few short days later. We leave you with our Montgomery moment for this week, some scenes from that last little event, which we do hope is indeed the last time we see snow for the season. For County Cable Montgomery, I'm Susan Kennedy. Thanks for watching.
There are some moments only the forest can inspire. Find yours at discovertheforest.org.
Body language can tell you all sorts of things. Like someone is having a stroke. Know the sudden signs. Learn fast. Face drooping, arm weakness, speech difficulty. Time to call 911 and get them to a hospital immediately. Learn the body language and spot a stroke fast.